Our next guest is a very funny comedian and actor you know from Fleabag. He's the creator and star of the excellent series Stath Lets Flats, which is available on HBO Max. Let's take a look.
And shall we wait for Mummy to go in, or are we just gonna charge in?
Me and her mum are separated.
Oh, God. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was sort of a song for her because she's quite young. Oh, and there's a chair. Michael and Eagle Lettings. This is a feature up here that we tried to get rid of, but in the end, we decided we loved it. And as you can see, there's an absolutely shower.
Please welcome to the show, Jamie Demetriou. How are you, Jamie?
I feel quite nice. Lovely to meet you, sir.
It's lovely to meet you as well. We have a friend in common, Ike Barinholtz, and he was the first person who told me about your show. And the title is such, I've gotten used to it. I love it now. When I first heard it, it's very frustrating because I literally had to have him spell it for me because Stath Lets Flats is such a weird earful. Do you love the title or do you regret it?
You know, there are times there are times in your life where you take your eye off the ball, and naming my show something that I find hard to say definitely feels like one of them. I mean, I do remember pitching the name Stath Lets Flats and the room sort of going quiet and us going, okay, so we definitely won't call it that. And then sort of hard cut to it coming out on TV, and we're all like, oh, how did we let that happen? No one was into Apartment Dude. No? All right. Cool.
Well, so your character, it is very clear in that it spells out what's happening in the show. Your character's name is Stath. You let or rent flats, apartments. So it all makes sense. I'm wondering, you did not have any experience letting flats. Did you have to shadow people who did this for a living?
Oh, not so much shadow. I just booked some. I booked some viewings at some properties that I didn't necessarily want to rent or buy, and it is the gift that keeps on giving. It's like they knew I was coming and were like, "We need to give him some inspiration for his show because let's do the dumbest thing we can possibly do because it's a waste of time for him if we don't." So yeah, I had all kinds of. I mean, I went into one place and it was freezing cold, and I said to the guy, is the heating on? He went, yeah, it is actually. And I was like, oh, that's not great, is it? Because it's so cold. And is the window like rattling? It looks like it's got some cracks in it. And he said, right, I know what you're thinking, and you're thinking that it's cold and that the heat is not working and that the window is bad. And I understand why you think that, but trust me, none of those things are the case. None of those things are true. No reason, just that. So there was born a TV show.
Have you received any feedback post it airing from those in the apartment arts? Do people like the show who do this for a living?
The apartment arts is being used. I think because, you know, by the very nature of those characters, they don't have a huge amount of introspection going on. So when they watch the show, they immediately deflects. Like the amount of times I've been into a realtor's office or a lettings agent's office, as we call it, and they've been like, oh my God, your character is exactly like this guy who works in our office. He's an idiot. And more often than not, they're pointing at a guy who seems really sweet and is just trying to eat a sandwich in the corner of the room. And I'm like, I think I might be more like you.
I did not realize this, that your sister in the show, who's fantastic, is your sister in real life, Natasha, who I also knew from What We Do in Shadows. It must be outstanding getting to work with each other for no reason less than how talented she is.
Right, I think that's it. It's the privilege is first and foremost working with her as an actor. You know, I probably would have wanted her to be in it anyway because she's my sister, but the true luck of it all is that whether or not she was my sister, I'd need her for that role because she's just unreal. And we have like it's so much easier when you have a shorthand. I mean, most of the cast are my pals or people I came up with and we share a sensibility. But with Tash, it literally comes down to like, if she's ever being given direction, you have like a shorthand of experience, like history together. So I can be like, you know, when our cousin in Cyprus dropped us off in the middle of the highway because he said he needed to go and buy a fish, and then he asked us if we like fish, and we said no, and he drove off. Can you pull the expression that he pulled as he drove up? Okay, and she's like, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
I also, I think this is, what I am saying is a compliment, because I never would make the connection with how you looked in Fleabag with how you look in real life. But you played Bus Roden in the first episode of Fleabag with maybe the most distressing fake teeth I've ever seen. How was that experience? Because obviously that's one for the history books, that show.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, I learned so much from Phoebe on set, her manner and her kind of, you know, it's a bar to be reached. So it was a really amazing experience, and I'm just so happy it took off in the way that it did. You know, the teeth thing is interesting. I went into a lot of casting calls after it came out, and there'd always be a sort of 15-second silence where you could tell the casting director wasn't listening to what I was saying because they were waiting for me to open my mouth wide enough to look inside. They'd be like, hey, how are you? And you're from... No, they're not wrong. Yeah, okay, so let's... I'm like, if that guy did exist, you know, he's going to have a hard time bagging some roles.
Yeah, he got the one, and that was going to be the last one.
Right, he's like, oh my God, look at this script.
I'm so excited to hear that you're working on scripts for a third season now. It's such a great show. So great to meet you. Thanks so much for being here, Jamie.
Man, pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.